finally keeping my promise about talking to you about employees. Don't mind the hairnet. I'm making gelato. I know it looks stupid, but hey, this is where we are. Anyway, so employees. The most important part about running your business is going to be choosing the right employees. I made a few bad decisions, and I had to deal with them. And ultimately, I'm still dealing with them. My first employees were actually two students that had just graduated. One graduated from high school and one was still in high school. And the one that was still in high school was honestly, so far to date, the best employee that I've had. Oh, the gelato's ready. Give me a sec. So back to talking employees. So yes, my best and favorite employee so far has been a high school kid. The youngest employee that I've ever had, and he is by far the best. But this was all before I opened my store. I also hired two people that I knew from the military, and turns out came up short every time that they worked. So I'm not saying that they stole, but it seemed like they did. Then came the store. So the very first day that we were open, the manager showed up late and apparently in filthy clothes. I didn't notice because I was so stressed, but everyone in my family did, and they made sure to tell me. I'm pretty sure he couldn't read and he didn't want to tell me, so he quit after the first day. So the assistant manager got the fastest promotion he's ever had and became the manager the next day. That worked out for a while. He was dedicated to the store. He wanted to make it succeed, but at the end of the day, he wasn't the best fit as manager. He was a good employee, but not a very good manager. And that's difficult to find, especially when you're a new company and you can't pay very well. I had a series of employees through that time. So from December until COVID, I had a series of employees. Most of them came in and never came back the next day. I think it was because it was too much work. Honestly, you don't get a time to breathe. I mean, obviously I'm not going to have them in during the slow time. During the slow time, I'm here by myself. When it gets busy is when they come to work, and it was just too much. Selecting your employees is the most important thing that you're going to do for your company. The wrong employees could bankrupt you because they could be stealing from you, and the right employees make things seamless and so easy. You don't know what a good employee is until you have a bad one, I suppose, and then you really appreciate the ones that didn't make you so stressed out, didn't call out 30 minutes before it's time for their shift to start, didn't just do no calls, no shows. When you do have employees, ensure that you have a training manual. There's nothing worse than having individuals train others and then they teach them their same bad habits. Have checklists and training manuals so that everyone is trained the same, your product turns out the same every time because your customer is depending on that. Well, that's it for me for now. It's time for me to close the store and head out on making my deliveries. It's going to be a long night. When I was stationed in Japan, people paid me for me to make them cheesecake. And I made all different types of cheesecakes. Whatever flavor they wanted, I would create. Well, my aunt saw the butter pecan flavor and she said, I want that when you get home. So the first thing I did when I got home was I made her some butter pecan cheesecake cupcakes. Well, we had to borrow the cupcake pan from her neighbor, so she promised her neighbor one cupcake. The other 12 were hers. And she lives in a house with 3 other people, so you can imagine how they accepted or did not accept that conclusion. Long story short, the butter pecan cheesecake cupcakes caused a war within her family, and I became known as the person whose cheesecake breaks up families. Yes, because it was my fault that the family was at war. Well, it's replaying again with the gelato. So I made a honey pecan gelato and I sent it out to New Jersey to a relative who was supposed to be sharing it with other people. Well, it was the same relative who was supposed to be sharing the cupcakes. Can you guess how this one turned out? I am now officially the war causer. So I also make gelato that causes wars between families. I don't know. The family breaker upper, is that what I am? I've been up since 5 o'clock in the morning because today was the first day of the farmer's market. And now it is...
I want to go to the farmer's market! Yay!
But she can't because
No, when everyone
COVID.
feels better, wait.
Yeah, when everyone feels better, you can come to the farmer's market.
Okay.
Bella.
This is a picture.
Sorry. After leaving the market, I went to the store, and after the store, I made deliveries, and now I'm back home. And I surprised my daughter, and we're playing Sorry with Nana, right?
Mm-hmm.
And who's winning?
Oh, me.
She actually is winning. I won Sorry!
Yeah!
I won first, and then
Me!
she won second. We beat Nana.
Yeah.
We are the champions,
We won!
my friends,
We won!
and we'll keep on fighting
And we
to
won!
the end.
We won!
'Cause we are the winners. We are the winners. No time for losers. 'Cause
Nana loses on, and Nana lost.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, Cedar.
Cheaters never win, and winners never cheat.
Yeah.
My daughter made me breakfast in bed for Mother's Day. So nice of her. We're playing Sorry again on Mother's Day, and I won again. I am the champion, my friend, and I'll keep on fighting to the end. Where are you going? So today is Mother's Day, or today was Mother's Day. It is now almost 11 o'clock at night, and I'm just getting home from making my deliveries. My day was supposed to start, or at least I hoped that it would start around 7, but my daughter surprised me with breakfast in bed at 6 o'clock in the morning. This is after yesterday. I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning for the first day of the farmer's market, but it was nice. She sat there on my bed and ate all my food. I got to have some of it, but it was a nice way to wake up. Today was hectic, to say the least. I had to make a ton of gelato, and then for some reason at like 6 o'clock in the evening, everyone learned of my gelato, and like a million orders were coming in on Uber, like back to back to back to back to back to back to back. And it was so funny because like delivery drivers were taking like 2 or 3 orders at a time with them to go drop off. But can't complain about that, right? I still have to make about 40 pints for tomorrow that was supposed to be delivered today, but I just couldn't fulfill the order by myself, so tomorrow it will have to be. And before I forget, happy Mother's Day. Isabella, why don't you want to play Sorry?
Because somebody has to lose. That's why you don't want to play Sorry, okay?
And so if me and you play, what's going to happen?
Nobody's gonna lose.
You said somebody has to. Who's it going to be?
Nana.
Nana's not here.
What are you talking about?
I just finished a pitch competition. I'm nervous because I won't know the results until the 28th, but hopefully I got in to the program that I was pitching for. It could potentially lead to tons of money for my company and to help us grow, so wish me luck. Today I want to talk to you about work-life balance. Obviously, I have not found that balance yet, and I am struggling to find it. But the reason that I'm having so much trouble, honestly, is because I have all this guilt. Whenever I want to take a day off, or whenever I feel that like I just need 1 hour to myself or to my daughter or just to play with her, I'm just like, oh, you all hear these stories of all these entrepreneurs that are just saying like, I never took any days off for a year or 2 years, or I didn't do this and I didn't do that. And it's just like, I feel that I'm not dedicating myself to my company if I'm not doing what they did. But the reality is that I shouldn't have to be comparing myself to them. This is my company and my life, and I created it for my reasons. Why should I be holding myself to their standards instead of my own? If I need a day off to just play with my daughter, then I need a day off to play with my daughter. I created this company for her, and now she tells me that, Mommy, all you do is work, and I feel horrible about that. I make sure that I take time at least once every day to play with her, But in her mind, I'm not playing with her at all. And that defeats the entire purpose of this company. Prior to COVID, I actually changed the hours of my store so that I could spend more time with my daughter. And it was working. And then COVID happened and my employees are gone and it's just me. So I have no choice but to operate the store and be gone longer hours. And I don't want to bring her here, so the choice was made for me. But taking a day off just so I can just sit down with her and play a game of Sorry, or an hour or 30 minutes, you know, that's important to me and it's important to her. And it really is the reason that I started this. So if I could give any advice about a work-life balance, it's yours to make. Don't follow someone else's formula. It's all about you. I mean, you started a company so that you could make the rules, not so that you could follow someone else's rule book. So just keep that in mind when you're deciding whether or not today is your day off or whether you should have days off at all. So after that little speech and my pitch competition, it's time for me to go make gelato because I am out. All right, so I will get back on here later maybe. Hey, so I've been trying to avoid giving messages while I'm driving so that I don't look at the camera. But I found that if I don't do it while I'm driving, then I don't do them at all. So here I am. I had to go to the store early because I was doing an interview that I wanted to do over there, and I also have a lot of work to catch up on as far as like preparing for this hot weekend. But I forgot the labels for the pints, and so now I'm headed back home. So I'm wasting 2 hours as opposed to gaining 2 extra hours of work. The shutdown is officially over. Traffic has returned. Today is my second day back at the farmer's market for the season, and luckily today it isn't 30 degrees outside. So hopefully we can sell more gelato. We'll see if everybody's screaming for ice cream today. If there is one lesson I've learned so far, it's that I need a sign at my storefront. I've been trying to get it, and finally it should be here next week, but man, people don't even know I'm there. And you think, I don't know why I thought this, but like, you'll just show up and then everyone will know you're there and then they'll come. But that is not realistic. And I should have known that. I mean, obviously all the research tells you have to advertise, you have to tell people where you are. But the problem is, if people know that you're there but they can't find your store, does you no good. So make sure that you put the money into a sign. It costs a lot, but it is worth it. So today is my mission to create a milk chocolate without using any sugar. We shall see how it turns out. As we know, I hate chocolate, so I'm not gonna like it either way, but hopefully you will. So I made 3 different versions of the chocolate, and the first version had too much liquid in it. The second version and third version also had too much liquid in it. So now I need to figure out how to make it get hard. Or do I really need it to be hard since I'm only using it for the gelato? I don't know.